about our initiatives or suggestions for future programming, you can see me after the presentation. And we ask that any questions that you might have for Lori after her presentation, please hold them till after the presentation, excuse me. Yeah, any questions you have for Lori, please hold till after the presentation, and you have to use the microphones that we've set up so that we can get you on videotape. Lori Hill is a green living advocate on a mission to do all she can to take better care of the planet. Her green lifestyle company, Sister Eden Media, inspires people from around the world to give a darn and live more mindfully on Earth. She shares tips through speaking engagements like this, her website, YouTube channel, and social media. Lori also frequently appears on Good Morning Washington. She is a resident of Takoma Park since 2011. She describes herself as a plant eater, trash picker-upper, climate activist, wife, and mom to 5 boys. 2 who are human, 2 who are cats, and 1 who is a dog. Just before Lori takes over here, takes the microphone, how many people here are residents of Takoma Park? You raise your hands? Oh, excellent. Great turnout. I'm glad you all could come. Thanks. And I'll go ahead and turn the presentation over to Lori. Thank you.
Rick. So thanks everybody for coming out on a warm, sunny Saturday morning. I really appreciate it. And I'm happy for the turnout. There was a lot of people who shared this on social media and also, just shared it with their listserv. So I really appreciate getting the word out on such an important topic. So after I'm done speaking, we'll do some Q&A, and like Rick said, go to the mics, and then we'll award some door prizes, woohoo, from companies that care about the planet. So the other thing is, has everybody here signed in? Yes. Okay. No. If you haven't signed in, please sign in with John. And the reason is that today, later today, I'm going to send you an email, a one-time only email, one time only. And that is going to have a resource guide for the things I'm going to talk about. It's also going to have a link to my ebook, The Sister Eden Citizen Action Plan, 31 Daily Tips to Take Care of Yourself and Take Care of the Planet. Woo! And you're going to get some discounts from the Green Garmento, Lunch Skins, and Bees Wrap. Of course, you'll get an invitation to subscribe to my weekly email if you want that. But I get you choose whether you want to get my weekly email. And then finally, you'll get a link to this. It's funny. Thanks. And finally, you'll get a link to this video. So if you want to share it with anybody you know, or if someone you think needs to live low waste, maybe you can encourage them to watch it. So again, we're doing a live feed now. So if you want to turn around and wave to the cameras, and I'm sure somebody's out there sitting poolside sipping a cocktail or something. Okay, so the goal here today is not to make you feel bad or inadequate, okay? The goal here for today is to just make you think, hey, I could do that. That's easy. That's all I want you to do. So what the heck do I mean by living low waste? And what's the difference between living low waste and living zero waste? Well, living zero waste is what Bea Johnson does. She is the author of Zero Waste Home, and her family of 4 humans and 1 teeny tiny dog, they can fit the amount of trash they create in 1 year in a jar. Okay, so that little jar right there, that's 1 year of trash for her family, and they've been doing that since 2008. Okay, so yes, something to strive for. I just want to let you know, I am no Bea Johnson. I bow down to Bea Johnson, bow down to Bea. Okay, she's wonderful, and there's a lot of people living zero waste in the world today. But I thought let's not overwhelm everybody. Let's just start out with just living low waste. And by low waste, I mean just being mindful of the waste we create, and just striving to send less stuff to the landfill and less stuff to recycling too. Because just because it goes to the recycling, that takes energy. So try and recycle less too, believe it or not. So before I officially moved here to Takoma Park in 2011, I wanted to live here really bad because, I thought that every resident of Takoma Park shopped at the co-op with reusable bags, and they carried a reusable water bottle, and they didn't use plastic, and they knew the do's and don'ts of recycling. Back in 2010, I was a single gal living on my own, never been married, and I was looking for a future mate, and so I got on greensingles.com, which is a real thing, okay? And so I saw this profile for this cute widower with 2 young sons, and I really liked what he wrote in his profile. And then I saw that he lived in Takoma Park. And I was like, jackpot! So 3.5 years later, I married that guy, okay? And this is our family. This is our holiday photo from last year. So I've got 2 sons. I've got Odin the dog and Loki and Thor the cats. So this is what I'm dealing with. These are the creatures that create waste in my home. And yes, there are 6 males in my home, so I'm a little outnumbered. Okay, so when I moved here, I'd walk the dog around the neighborhood and I'd pick up trash. I see a lot of trash when I'm walking the dog. And so I'd bring my Chico bag with me. You guys know Chico bags? So, because I didn't want to put trash in another plastic bag and then put that plastic bag in the trash. So I just carry this with me. And I also now have gloves, and so I pick up trash as I go. And then I heard about the city's Adopt a Spot program. And I thought, well, heck, I'm picking up trash already. I might as well get credit for it. And plus, I get this nifty sign that, I can promote my company, my organization, the website, and all of that. So anything for exposure, okay? But by picking up trash on a regular basis, I really learned a lot about my fellow, humans. And here's the thing. The trash I see, it's not all litter. It's not just people throwing stuff out of their car window. It's people who, it's just stuff that falls out of the recycling bins. It blows out of the recycling bins, or it, gets out of our trash cans, or like some creature gets into a plastic bag. That's, to be honest, where most of the trash comes from. And what I pick up the most: plastic straws, plastic soda and water bottles, plastic cups, and dryer sheets, and cigarettes, and plastic bags. I never see a reusable bag. I never pick up reusable bags. So one thing that this tells me, though, is that we are so on the go. We are all moving so fast, and we feel like we need to have these time-saving things to keep us going. And so, so we're buying crap snacks in plastic wrappers and, sodas to keep us going. And, it's just not good for our planet. All these time-saving things are bad for the planet, and they're also bad for us. We all just need to slow them down, okay? And I'm one of them, and that's one thing I am working on. That's another workshop for another time, okay? And I'll be honest, there are some days when I'm just, it's not even an official trash pickup day. I'm just walking around the neighborhood and I see trash and I'm like, I just do not have the energy to deal with this today. But most of the time, I'm just motivated. I like cleaning up, and it's like I'm cleaning up my house. But then, yeah, I am. I'm cleaning up my house because the earth is our collective home, okay? And unfortunately, we are letting too much waste fall on our living room floor, okay? And that waste ends up in our green spaces and in our waterways and in aquatic life, some of which we eat. Some of us eat aquatic life. And here's the thing. You wouldn't throw a piece of trash down on your living room floor and just leave it there. Okay, my sons would do that, and they actually still do that. But anyway, but you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't throw a piece of trash down on your living room floor and just leave it there. You'd pick it up. Or if a guest, drops something on your living room floor, you'd pick it up for them. But why is our collective living room floor any different? okay, than our in-home living room floor. So as citizens of this planet, you know, we all need to keep our collective home, we all need to keep our collective home clean, and that involves creating less waste so nothing falls on the living room floor. And it also means that sometimes we need to pick up the trash of others who had no idea that their trash fell on the living room floor. Because one day, maybe your trash falls on the living room floor and somebody else picks it up for you. So just think of it as paying it forward. So back to picking up trash. So one day as I'm picking up trash, you know, I was thinking, you know, what can I do to motivate and inspire my neighbors to pick up trash like I do? You know, it's a great workout and it's a great feeling of satisfaction. And then I thought, you know, I don't know if that's enough to motivate everybody. So then it hit me and I thought, you know what? It's not that the trash isn't a problem. We need to stop creating so much waste in the first place. Then we wouldn't have the problem of trash. Because once you throw something away, do any of us really know for sure what happens to the waste once we throw it away? Do we really know what happens to it? And where is away? So like, I think some people think that away is out here, okay? But it all stays on the planet, okay? And, you know, does it end up in the landfill? Or does it really go to the recycling facility? Or unfortunately, you know, does it end up, you know, along the beach or worse, you know, in the water, in our oceans, in our streams, in Sligo Creek? So we can't be sure. It's kind of like, you know, the expression, don't do anything you wouldn't want to appear on the front page of the Washington Post. Well, it's kind of like, don't create any waste that you wouldn't want to appear in our green spaces or end up in the ocean, okay? Just think about that. So we've all seen reduce, reuse, recycle. And I think most of us just kind of focus on recycle, but not reducing and reusing. I mean, I just like heard those words, but I'm like, yeah, whatever, reduce, reuse, recycle, whatever. Recycle, I would just recycle. But we really need to focus more on reducing and reusing. And let me give you an example. So John and I both love to drink sparkling water. And so we used to, you know, go to the co-op and buy plastic bottles of sparkling water. And then we're like, oh, the plastic's kind of bad. So then we switched to, you know, glass bottles of sparkling water. And we look in the recycling bin, and I mean, it was just overflowing with sparkling water. And we're like, this is crazy. It's just like so much waste, even though it's getting recycled, and we're only using it once. Oh my gosh, that just makes no sense to use it once and then recycle. And so we're like, we got to do something about it. And then one Christmas, Santa brought us a soda stream, okay? And so that's what we use. And the great thing about this is we not only reduced, we like eliminated our waste altogether. And so we reuse the bottles. Now those are plastic bottles. Some soda streams do come with glass bottles, by the way. But it is a heavy duty plastic that you reuse over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then the CO2 carbonator thing, you can just turn that back in when you're done with it over to at Ace Hardware or your local hardware store, whoever sells this stuff. It's great. So there's no waste there. The only bit of waste is at the, the only bit of waste here is at the top. Okay, that's like a hermetically sealed thing, and then there's a little plastic cap there at the top that I put in recycling. So there's a little bit of landfill and a little bit of that. That is like so much less as reducing than all of those plastic bottles. And you know, it's just strive to reduce and reuse before you recycle. It's kind of like paper. You know, I grew up in a time when we actually like wrote notes on paper. So if I get an extra piece of paper, a blank piece of paper in the mail, I'll put that in my printer and reuse it. Or if I get something in the mail and there's like a little tiny section of white space, I'll cut that off and use it for scrap paper. Yay, okay, yes, other people like me, okay? So I mean, so here's the thing, like reuse, 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 reuse until you can't reuse again, and then recycle. Okay, but let's get back to the original 3 R's, reduce, reuse, recycle. How about we add in 2 other words that Bea Johnson talks about? And the first one is refuse, and the second one is rot, which means composting. Okay, so refusing is one thing Americans really need to work on, or we wouldn't have the show Hoarders, okay? So, and these are some of the things that we can refuse. Refuse the plastic straw, the plastic bag, the plastic cup, the plastic plate, the plastic cutlery, the packets of soy sauce and duck sauce and mustard sauce and the 10 packets of ketchup and the 2-inch stack of napkins and the swag bag after the gala affair and, you know, your tchotchke bag full of things that you pick up at trade shows and festivals. You can just say, I'll need it. Thanks so much. Or, you know, that's okay. Just do that. Now, on to composting. Here in Takoma Park, I cannot stress enough how we are so darn lucky that we have curbside composting. Okay? So we can prevent all of our food waste from going to the landfill, which is a really, really bad thing. And we can just put it in our compost bin, and then it ends up going back to our we're recycling it back into our soil. So if you don't participate in the food waste collection program, which is what it is officially called, I highly encourage you to participate in that. So when John and I renovated our house in 2011, we asked, instead of getting a built-in trash can, we asked for a built-in compost bin. So that is our compost bin right there, right by the sink, okay? And, you know, we've got our 13-gallon EcoSafe liner, and then, you know, Thursday night, I just pull it out of there, and then I put it in the bucket that the city provides. So it's so easy. And keep in mind, folks, that the guys that are picking it up, they are like going into your bucket and pulling out your bag, okay? So please keep that, you know, just make that bag easy for them to pull them out. Use a liner so that your container doesn't get all stinky and messy and dirty. And by using the liner, my bucket barely gets dirty, and if it does, I just rinse it out with straight vinegar, and it works perfectly fine. So what goes in the compost bin? All of your food. So bread and pasta and beans and meat and cheese, and I even put in soap nuts, which I'll tell you about later, and your pizza, the soiled portion of your pizza boxes can go in, but of course tear it up a little bit. So, you know, it's great. So I will include a link to the compost program on your, you know, and the resource material that I'll send out to you. But if you do not live here in Takoma Park, I'll also send out links for some local compost programs that others can take advantage of. So speaking of the city's programs, when the city was considering a plastic bag ban, you know, I was really excited about that. We're so progressive here in Takoma Park. But when I learned that they were making exceptions for dry cleaning bags as well as bags for raw and bulk foods, I'm like, what's the deal? Come on, you can avoid those things too. And I actually like got up here at a city council meeting and I did a little demonstration on ways that you can avoid plastic bags. And, you know, like the mayor, Kate was like, you know, she's like, what's she doing there? And, you know, they seemed interested, but alas, still, they, you know, they still had those exceptions. But so I got back and I created a video, 6 tips to avoid plastic bags. And it has over 5,000 views on YouTube. Actually, as of this morning, 5,399. Thank you very much. So clearly it has struck a chord. And so I thought I'd share it with you, and you might recognize a few places in it. Where is our sound? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna, how do we want to do this? Do you want me to, let me know when you're ready. Uh-oh.
Can you talk about soap nuts while you're waiting?
Yeah, hold on. Are you, huh? John? Do you need my AV guy, John? Okay, I'll let you figure that out. So soap nuts, which I will go into, my neighbor Rachel turned me on to it, and they're basically a berry that you use, and you put them in like a little cloth bag that's about this big, and you just toss them into your laundry. You know, I used to buy the 7th generation, the big thing, 7th generation at the co-op. And again, I'm like looking at the plastic and it's like, come on, you know, it was just way too much plastic. And so what I love about, by the way, the video was working perfectly earlier when we were testing it. So ain't that the way. So anyway, so what I love about it is you can compost the soap nuts. And like the little plastic, the cloth bag, we could probably compost that too, right, Gina? The little cloth bag? Yeah. Are we gonna try it again? We think we're good? Okay, you're hitting the buttons. Yay! I'm declaring war on plastic bags. Our own reusable bags to the grocery store, but plastic bags still kept coming into our home. Because of the health and environmental impact of plastic on our lives, I decided I wanted our family to go plastic free. It's really easy to do and it creates a lot less clutter in your home. So here are my 6 tips for avoiding plastic bags. When I'm shopping for produce, whether at the grocery store or at the farmer's market, I keep it loose, baby. For smaller items, I like to use mesh bags like this, which you can either buy online or at the grocery store. They can also double as a salad spinner. Just wash your greens, then place them in the bag, and then take it outside and spin away. For items like carrots, I opt for the loose option because it's one less bag. And then I take the greens and use them in stir fry. Whenever I can, I get our bread directly from our local bakery or at a grocery store that has a bakery. I ask them to slice a fresh loaf and then place the loaf in my reusable cotton bag. Our local Whole Foods makes this really easy. You pick your loaf at the self-serve bakery, have them slice it, and then use their label maker to label your bag. I then put our bread bag directly in the freezer with the label. I buy bagels in bulk at our co-op and put those in a reusable cotton bag too. When I get them home, I pre-slice them, put a small piece of wax paper between them, which I reuse, and then freeze them in the cloth bag. When we go to use them, the wax paper makes it easy to separate the 2 frozen slices. We buy in bulk to save money, and we bring our own containers to reduce the amount of plastic cluttering our kitchen. Depending on the item, I either use a glass or a cloth container. And I didn't buy anything new. Some of the containers I use are old mason jars, pickle jars, spaghetti sauce jars, and others I bought on the cheap at our local thrift store. But before I put anything in them for the first time, I have the container weighed. I write the weight, known as the tare, on the outside of the container so the weight of the container can be deducted from the overall weight of the item. I wash these fabric bags that contain my soap nuts and use them to hold flour and sugar and other dry goods. You know, once I got the hang of this, it was so easy. And you know, let me tell you, it feels great to create less waste in the kitchen. It's my new obsession. If your grocery store doesn't offer items in bulk, just ask them to. We now avoid dry cleaning bags by using the green Garmento. It's an investment of just $9.99 and so worth it to avoid all that plastic. The bag is made of recyclable, non-woven polypropylene, which serves 3 purposes. A hamper for your dirty clothes, a duffel for transporting laundry and old hangers to the dry cleaner, and the hanging garment bag. Just request that your dry cleaning come back naked so that your clean clothes come back inside the hanging garment bag. When I order takeout, there are 2 ways I bring my own bag. When I order in person, I tell them, I've got my own bag, and I hand it directly to them. When I order over the phone, I tell them I'm bringing my own bag, and then I make a point to get to the restaurant a little early so that when my order is up, they can put my order directly in my own bag. I find that nylon bags, like Chico bags, are great to use because if some food spills, they're really easy to clean in warm sudsy water and then you can just line dry them. By the way, when ordering, I also tell the restaurant I do not need 50 packets of ketchup, plastic cutlery, or napkins. Now if I'm eating on the go, I use my own reusable bamboo cutlery from To-Go-Ware. So what about all the other places we like to shop? Like the drugstore, the office supply store, the hardware store, the gift shop, or the clothing store. Why not use reusable bags there too? So to be sure that little broccoli florets don't commingle with my fair trade organic t-shirts, I designate specific bags for clothing shopping only. In the comment section below, let us know how these tips work for you. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Thanks for watching, and remember, take care of yourself and take care of the planet. Okay.
So validating. All the craziness.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Soul sisters, soul sisters. Okay. So thanks for that, and I'll share that link in the resource guide too. So by the way, I want to thank my friend Brooke Moore here. Wave your hand, Brooke. So Brooke turned me on to the idea of using cloth bags for your bread, and then she just like showed me. I mean, we had done some things in bulk, but like she showed me bulk, and there's just, you know, oh my gosh, I'm constantly discovering new things at the co-op. Oh, they have that in bulk too, huh? So it's just great. And she also reminded me of Bea Johnson, because I had the book and stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know her. And then I've become a Bea freak. So, and by the way, Brooke is a decluttering consultant. So if you're looking to declutter, see her, because, you know, decluttering stuff, waste, yeah, it's all connected. Okay, so, a lot of that video covered kitchen stuff, so I want to kind of continue on the kitchen theme. So in addition to the compost bin we have in our kitchen, we also have a trash can and a recycle bin. And in fact, oops, I didn't mean to, hold on. Did I go in the right direction? Okay, sorry, that's what I meant to do. Okay, so we have a trash can in every room. Every room that we have a trash can in, we also have a recycling bin, with the exception of the bathroom, but I really do want to start adding one in there too. And notice we do not have any liners in our waste cans. You really don't need them, okay? And what we do is we only have one bag of trash in our house. So we create one bag of trash per week in our house. Okay, I realize I ain't no Bea Johnson, but still. And what we do then on trash day is we go around with our kitchen bag and just go around all the rooms that have trash and empty it out. No problem. Can you hold questions till the end? Okay. So, and that way, because, you know, we just don't need the plastic. And if it gets dirty, okay, it takes like 30 seconds to clean it out, so just don't worry about it. And, you know, we'll say to the boys, you know, if you have yicky, sticky gum or something like that, just put it in the trash can in the kitchen. Okay, so food storage. So obviously, yes, buying in bulk creates less waste. I love doing it, and yes, now the slide of what we buy in bulk. And this is just what we buy. There is so much more available, and there's more. So, and the one thing, just like the fact that we can do oils and olive oil, and I mean, I'm like, okay, why am I buying a new bottle of olive oil every time when I can just go to the bulk section and buy olive oil? And you saw the thing about bagels. I mean, again, I'm constantly discovering new things. And before I buy something, I'm like, I wonder if they have this in bulk at the co-op. I asked the co-op if they could give us a list of all the things they provide in bulk, and they said it's changing all the time, so no, they could not give that to me. So I'm kind of bummed about that. So other things that we do is we use reusable containers. And so reusables, not disposables, that's a big thing. When I'm on social media, I'm always doing hashtag reusables, not disposables. So, you know, anything that is reusable, try to do that first. And so, oh yeah, here's a friend of mine. Can you all see this? Not to lecture, but the skull of your fallen enemy is reusable and much less wasteful. Okay. So, a friend of mine just sent that to me. Okay, so reusable bottles. So we buy milk for our one son who's the omnivore of the family, and so he can do a gallon of that milk in a day. And you know, the co-op used to have the kombucha in containers like this. They don't do it anymore, but I have a friend up in Catonsville who does this, so Bootschlager's kombucha. And of course, I feel like getting a beer at Denizens right now, but yeah, you can buy Everybody know Denizens in Silver Spring? Okay, woman-owned. And, but yeah, buy your beer in growlers, so much less wasteful. And then I don't eat eggs, but the others in my family eat eggs, and we just keep saving the cartons. Now, some of you might say, well, I can just recycle that. No, reuse it. So if you go to the Takoma Park Farmers Market or the Silver Spring Farmers Market, the flower people, Settler Post Farm, they will take your egg cartons, and some of the other places that sell egg cartons. So reuse before you recycle. Now, when it comes to storing produce, we don't use plastic, and so I just use a lot of Pyrex. But people say to me, okay, you don't get the plastic bag, so what do you do with lettuce and stuff like that? So this is what I've been doing lately. I've read that you should wrap lettuce in like a damp paper towel. Well, I don't buy paper towels anymore. And so what I do is just use a damp dishcloth, and I wrap this up, and I wrap it up like a little baby in a blanket, okay? And that works out fine. And I do that with broccoli and, something small like Brussels sprouts. I probably wouldn't do that, but yeah. And mushrooms I put in a brown paper bag because that's how the mushroom people say you should store them, and then I can compost that afterwards. Things that I prepare from scratch, I started looking at all the plastic in our house, and I'm like, I can just make that and avoid the plastic container. So I'm a big guacamole maker. I've tried to make my own hummus. I'm still working on it, okay? Still working on the hummus. And I try to make my own bread from time to time too. So there's a picture of my kitchen. Clearly we were in need of going grocery shopping. It's usually not that empty. But so we just use extra jars. We just use old jars to put stuff in, okay? You don't need to spend a lot of money on this. And you'll see the bees wrap. I'll talk about that in a minute, but that's really popular. So just reuse things. The cleanup, oh, sorry, I'm jumping, yeah, okay, yeah. So have you heard of lunch bots? Okay, that's what these are. So they're basically stainless steel containers. Our 12-year-old takes, he can't stand the lunches at school, so he just brings his own. And so yeah, he often puts it in a lunch bot. And they're great. And I also use this for takeout, not takeout. If you go out to dinner and you have leftovers, I'm like, I'll just put it in here as opposed to getting their potentially carcinogenic takeout container. And here's the bees wrap. So if you haven't heard of this, it's fabulous. And it's basically beeswax, organic cotton, tea tree oil, and jojoba oil. I think I've got that right. And it's wonderful because it just clings like the evil plastic wrap, but it's so much better for the environment. And it lasts like a year, okay? So I bought stuff, and I mean, like a year later, it is still working strong. And they told me you can compost it because it is a natural, it's just all from nature. Okay, cleaning up. Napkins, so we were talking about cloth napkins earlier, and yeah, so I make some out of t-shirts because I ain't no Sally Sewer. My sister is, so she took some of my dad's shirts and turned them into napkins. I've also bought some, gotten them at yard sales, the thrift store, all of that. So we do not buy paper napkins anymore. We don't buy paper towels anymore. I use rags for cleanups. We have so many rags in our house, like so many old towels that are just holey and ratty, and you can just use them for other things. And then I also take cardboard. And this is because we got some kitty cats that like to throw up. And so instead of using like 8 paper towels to clean up that mess, what I do is I take cardboard that comes from, like the cereal boxes or the Cliff Bars or something like that. And so I scoop it up. So I take the one piece of cardboard and scoop it under the other. It works really easy. It basically gets it all up. I dump that in the trash, and then I just take a little bit of my surface cleaner and a rag. Boom, we're good to go. And so you use so much less waste. Speaking of cleaning solutions, so I am now making my own cleaning solutions. So it just started with a multi-purpose surface cleaner, which is vinegar and water and a little dash of lemon, but I also do others, and I'm not going to bore you with all the different ones that I do, but basically the ingredients are, basically it all comes down to vinegar and Castile soap and olive oil and lemons and baking soda and water. And I can make like 6 different solutions, and I'll provide you a link to that stuff afterwards. When it comes to the bathroom, really trying not to use tissues anymore. So I use handkerchiefs all the time, especially when blowing my nose. But for brushing my teeth, I use the Virtue Brush. And this is a bamboo toothbrush, so no plastic. And I know the Co-op sells a bamboo toothbrush, not the Virtue Brush. And this one has charcoal-infused bristles. And you're like, charcoal? But it actually whitens your teeth. And it's compostable except the bristles. So what I do is I just pop off the heads, and you can actually just, we've used it for kindling. You can use it maybe to identify your plants in your garden. You know, there are various and sundry things that you can reuse your Virtue Brush for. When it comes to, does anybody use this floss from the Co-op? I love this because it's very, very low waste. It's a cardboard container, so no plastic container. And then there's a little tiny piece of metal right there that can be recycled. And inside, it's a little teeny plastic bag that has the actual floss in it that you take it out of the bag first. But it's like so low waste. It's not zero waste, but it's very low waste. And then when it comes to buying soap, we buy our soap in bulk at the Co-op too. So, because I didn't want the wrappers or the plastic or the papers. So we just buy the soap that comes like that, and the little price tag is on the side. I bring my own bag, and that's what we use, and it works fine. So the laundry. So my neighbor Rachel turned me on to soap nuts. And so they come in a bag like this, and I talked about this in the video. And you can get, there's all different sizes of bags. And so these are what the soap nuts look like. They're like a little berry, and then you put them in this smaller bag and just toss it in the wash. You put like 5 soap nuts in the bag, and you can do up to 7 loads with it, okay? It's just great because you have just no waste, and you can compost the nuts afterwards. I make my own stain remover. Again, this is because, I started thinking all those plastic containers of stain remover I was constantly going through. I'm like, I'm just going to make my own. And so I take vinegar and Castile soap and water, and it's warm water, and I'll put that in a spray bottle. Now, so when our 12-year-old, who's a baseball player, comes home with his entire uniform just totally stained, I got to tell you, this stuff gets it out. So I will, again, the key is that it's warm for tough stains. And I just take a brush and I scrub it. And I mean, the stain is practically gone before I throw it in the wash. Okay, that's how well this works. And then, but any other leftover, I just, I put it in a spray bottle and use it. And you just might need to scrub a little bit, everybody. Just scrub a little bit, and then it works fine. No toxins, better for us, better for the planet, and you're using less plastic. It's less bad. It's not zero waste, but it's less bad. And then the other thing is that we are line drying our clothes now. I've been begging John, I'm like, I want to line dry the clothes. And he's like, we got to get the right one. So he got the Pulley one, which is great. And I got to tell you, I know I'm going to sound like a 1950s housewife in a commercial, but my husband loves the smell of the fresh, the fresh dried laundry. Okay, so anyway. Okay, on to Loki and Thor, our kitty cats. And it's so funny, I kept getting asked this question last week at Greenfest, like, what do you do about your cats and the cat litter? So here's the thing, you should never put litter down the toilet. Thank you. You should never put litter down the toilet. Bad, because it spreads that kitty cat virus that has a really long name, and I can't remember it now, but I did make a video about this. And so what I do is I take a bag that would have to go in the trash anyway, that can't be recycled. So like tortilla chip bags and pita chip bags and just, you name it, that kind of thing, and we put the litter in that. And so we just collect them all in this like little bag in the room where the litter boxes are, and then I put it outside on our side porch in this sealed container with a lid, okay, so the house doesn't stink. And then on trash day, when we're going around with our one trash bag, then we empty this out and put all of our waste in there. Not zero waste, but less bad. Okay, on to entertaining. I'm big on entertainment. I used to be an event planner for 16 years, and so one of the things I would tell my clients is, let's try and use real stuff. You know, oh my gosh, dishware, what a concept, dishware and utensils. So that's what we try and do when we have parties. And oh my gosh, wine glasses. Wine tastes better in wine glasses anyway. And then water, you can use a pitcher to serve water in. You don't need a big, all types of single serve bottled water that end up only get half consumed and then are laying around your house. Now you'll see here that those are actually corn cups. Those are considered compostable, but I have been told by NEMA that unless it has, BPI certification, you should not put it in your compost bin. She said she's seen plates that have that certification and takeout containers that have the certification, and it'll say BPI on the bottom of it, so look out for that. But corn cups, less bad than plastic cups. And then also when it comes to, just decorations, I try and take things from nature. So when it's the holidays, I'll just take bits and pieces of the tree, and we've got some rosemary bushes in our front yard. I use that, and I steal my neighbor's holly. I ask first, and that's what we do. Okay, so on to before I get on to the straws. Neighborhood gatherings, talking about parties. So I live in the Long Branch, Sligo neighborhood. Woohoo, give it up. Yeah, okay, one person from Long Branch, Sligo. So we are a BYOC neighborhood, bring your own container. So we do a 4th of July block party. We also do a spring brunch and egg hunt. And we tell people, bring your own containers, bring your own cup, bring your own plates and cutlery, and take it home with you. And that works really well. And we also compost. So any food waste, we compost. To cover the tables, we just use linens, table linens, or sometimes we've used craft paper. The cool thing about craft paper, the brown paper, and the cool thing about that is like you can write on it and say desserts here and appetizers here, and that works really well when you're doing a potluck. And the nice thing about if you have a lot of compost, you can put out more than your 5-gallon bucket of compost. Just put it in a big container or whatever will hold it, and then label it compost. And the guys will pick it up, okay? They're great about that. So when it comes to eating out, okay, let's talk about straws. You don't need the straw. You don't need the straw. Unless you have a health condition or, I understand certain people need straws, okay. But you really don't need a straw. And there are a few of us here in the city that are starting a anti-plastic straw campaign, and we're going to actually try and get the restaurants to voluntarily stop serving plastic straws and switch to paper straws, and maybe eventually we'll work towards a ban on plastic straws here in Takoma Park. But in the meantime, you can buy reusable straws, and so there's stainless steel and there's glass. Those are the ones I prefer. The glass are kind of like Pyrex. If I'm on the go, I'll bring stainless steel with me, or we just don't use the straw. One thing that I forgot to put a photo of is lunch skins. Are you familiar with lunch skins? These are like the reusable lunch bags that you can use instead of Ziploc bags. And this is actually made by a company in Bethesda, okay, local people. And this is great. You can put this in the dishwasher and just use it over and over and over again. So use this instead of plastic bags. And you saw the to-go-ware in the video. I carry a set of utensils with me all the time, because you never know when you're on the go and you need to get something to take out. I can refuse the plasticware and use my to-go-ware instead. I also like to bring a cloth napkin with me sometimes, or I'll have a handkerchief, so I'll use that instead of taking a paper napkin. I don't go anywhere without my reusable water bottle, okay? And we take them to Washington Nationals baseball games. So I love the Nats because you can go in there with your empty water bottle and you can fill up there. Yay, Nats, okay? Some other stadiums, Dan Snyder, don't let you do that. So the other thing is when I go to the airport and fly, I bring my water bottle with me. I make sure it's empty before I go through security. I actually take the lid off so they know that it's cool and there's nothing in there. And when Yeah, and I told you about going out to eat and the lunch bots and, okay. Oh, my travel mug. Okay, my Swell. So this is by the same company that does my water bottle. There's actually a lid for this, but it's the Swell tumbler. And what I love about this is you can just, heck, just put a beverage of any kind, hot or cold, in it. But if you have the lid, I'm telling you, this keeps stuff hot for like 8 hours. I have put tea in my Swell tumbler at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was still hot at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Don't ask me why it takes me 8 hours to drink my tea, but it really lasts a long time. And by the way, I don't get any money from these companies. I just love them, and I like to share information about them. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to tell you about is gift giving. And we like to try and reuse things. So one of the things that I do is one year I went to Value Village, and got some like scarves on the cheap and some socks, some holiday socks. I just put them, like that middle one is a sock, okay? And I did that for my wine bag. And, you know, so hey, get a pair. So the person gets a bottle of white, and a pair of socks at the same time. And then, yeah, the scarves. And then also when Video Americaine was going out of business, they had their posters from all types of movies. So we picked up some of those and we used that as wrapping paper. And then I just use a bag or some cloth and do that. And again, there's some holly from my neighbor's tree. Okay, so that's something to think of. And then the other thing that we do is we are big on experiences, because experiences last longer. And I am not creative, I am not a calligrapher or anything, so I just do a certificate on Word, okay? And basically I did this for my nieces, my honorary nieces. And so it's like, let's go to a show and, you know, and do this. And I always kind of give them the value of it, you know, especially for something like this, if they're gonna pick a show. And then I give them a deadline. You know, and I gotta tell you, man, sometimes my nephew, man, within a week of getting that, he's like, oh, let's go to this show. So yeah, it really works out well, and there's no waste. Okay, so next up, I'm gonna show this next video. And so 2 years ago, we decided to take spring break in Mexico. I wanted to go to an eco-friendly resort. I didn't want to just go to any place. I knew I wanted to be by the beach. I wanted to go someplace warm, and I wanted to be by the beach. And I ideally wanted to be at an eco-friendly resort. And there really wasn't anything in Florida. And I asked my friend Abby, who is a greenie travel agent type person, and she found this place in Mahahual, Mexico, which is about 5-6 hours south of Cancun, along the coast, obviously. And after we booked it, then we found out that they have a trash problem in Mahahual, and it's kind of a big deal. And I said, okay, you know what? I pick up trash, so I'm gonna pick up trash when I'm on vacation. So I just wanna warn you, I am picking up trash in this video, and I want you to know that, okay, I forgot my gloves, but I was okay. I also had on like 50 SPF, okay, because I'm wearing my bathing suit, because I was on vacation. I wanted to work on my tan. And, you know, I'm wearing a hat, because, you know, and by the way, I'm bending over. I'm not bending with my knees because I have bad knees, you know, so it's easier for me to bend over. Because I had a neighbor who saw this, and she's like, oh my God, the things I could complain about. You're not bending correctly. Where was your sunscreen? Where was your big broad hat? And so I just want to let you know, I was fine. But anyway, this one is called Lori's Trashy Behavior, the Mexico edition. Okay. Okay, sound, hold on. Okay. Wasn't that convenient? Okay. Yes, we're gonna put it back. John, he came up here to do something. Do you want me to continue? Try now. Nope. Okay, well, okay, so I'm going to talk about Adopt a Spot, because that's what I was going to talk about anyway. And so Adopt a Spot, it's a great way, it's a great way to do, number one, it's a great way to do something for your community. And I got to tell you, it is such a great workout, okay? I get my heart rate up when I am walking up and down Carroll Avenue. That's the area that I've adopted between Carroll Avenue Bridge and Long Branch, Sligo. or excuse me, and Long Branch Creek. But also you get some publicity for your business or organization. When I've met people, they're like, oh, it would be great to have a sign to promote our nonprofit or something like that. They give you gloves. They give you, a vest that you can wear so people can see you. And they also give you trash bags. But, after a while, I just started using my own trash bags. And then I put the trash in my waste afterwards. So, just at curbside afterwards. So you're free to pick any spot you want in Takoma Park. Are we ready? Okay. So I'm thinking maybe I should back it up. Okay. So I would say that 98% of what I picked up was plastic. And the day we invented plastic is the day the earth cried.
Hey, Brian. Yep, it's time to start getting up. You got a key? I'm gonna tell later.
So when we finally decided to spend spring break in Mexico, I asked my friend Abby, who's an ecotourism specialist, to help us find an eco resort. And boy, did she nail it. She told us about the Maya Luna Hotel Restaurant, which is a small eco resort with 4 little bungalows on the beach. That's it. It's about 5 hours south of Cancun, past Tulum, and then south of a small coastal town called Mahahual. Now, some of you may know it by the cruise ship destination Costa Maya, and that's just north of town. Maya Luna is off the grid, so they have solar panels on their roof, and each bungalow collects rainwater, which is what you use in the bathroom. After making our reservation, though, I found out that this part of the Mexican Caribbean has a problem with thousands of tons of trash, mostly plastic, that floats on the Caribbean current and then ends up on the beaches of the southern Yucatan Peninsula. As soon as I learned that, I knew I wanted to spend some of my vacation picking up trash, because that's how we roll. In front of our hotel, it's absolutely beautiful, but if you go to either side of the property, there is lots of trash. Because of the trade winds and the currents, anything that floats, particularly plastic, is going to end up on the shores here. Some of it does come from Mahahual, the people that live there and what they create, but also it comes from cruise ships, the Caribbean, and parts of North America. So it's everybody's problem. So I want to do my part, and that's what I'm going to do today. I'm thinking I'm just going to start with the big stuff, because there are so many minuscule pieces of plastic that are just embedded in the grass here. And I mean, I could just spend all day combing through that. And what happens is the plastic washes up onto shore, and then it sits in the sun, and then it just gets dry and brittle, and it just breaks apart into many, many, many pieces. And that makes me sad. It's made of styrofoam or something like that. Another polystyrene takeout container. This breaks apart, gets into the fish eat it.
trash we picked up today. So first up, I'm going to weigh myself. 59.3 kilograms. Okay.
72.2272727
Kilograms. 72 kilograms. Just rounding, right?
72 kilograms.
The day we invented plastic is the day the Earth cried. Yeah. There's just so much plastic out there.
After picking up trash in Mexico, I'm even more committed to eliminating plastic from our lives. If you want to find out what we are already doing, watch the 3 short videos below. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Thanks for watching, and remember, take care of yourself and take care of the planet.
Okay. So, thank you. So back to Adopt a Spot. So yeah, you can just pick any spot you want in Takoma Park as long as it's not taken. And trust me, there are a lot of spots that are not taken. So Rick, raise your hand again if you're interested in participating in the Adopt a Spot program. We do have paper forms if you want to sign up. See Rick, ask him any questions. I'll also send you a link if you want to sign up online. But it's really rewarding. So I've got some action items for you. So when you go home today, look what's in your trash. Look what and in your recycling bin, and notice what you have a lot of, and decide, how could I reduce that? And also pick up trash in front of your house. At the very least, just pick it up in front of your house. And if you can do some more, great. Or when you're walking down the street and you see trash, just pick up some trash. And get outside. Take a walk, notice what you see, and if you do see trash, say, do I create that kind of waste? And maybe figure out, decide not to create that waste anymore. And if you're stuck, by all means, email me. I'd love to hear from you, okay? This is how to contact me. And again, I'm sending a one-time email today. So for anybody who arrived late, you're going to get an email from me after this, one time. If you do want to subscribe to my weekly email, it's like a really quick email I send out on Friday mornings. Sometimes it's a video, sometimes it's a blog post, but it's really quick and dirty. So I know you're busy, and I know you get a lot of emails, so it's your decision if you want to subscribe to that. But that is how to get in touch with me, and there we go. So any questions? Oh, hold on. Yes, go to the mics if you have any questions. Okay, okay. You guys were acting like you were going to ask a question. Are you leaving? Is that what you? Oh, I answered the questions? Okay. Oh, Gina.
Hi. I want to know, what is your biggest problem area? So is there some area where you just haven't come up with a trash-free solution?
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, I was just complaining to John about this the other day. So I've stopped buying Kleenex, facial tissue. Because again, I use it, I really do use a handkerchief for blowing my nose. But for me, also just I'll get, like I want to clean, this sounds gross, like my eyes, you get stuff, and I want to use a tissue for that. And I've tried using a handkerchief for that, and it does not work. But I will look in our trash can, and we have lots of tissue, facial tissue in there. And then, Okay, I probably shouldn't go any further because I live in a house with men, and yeah, okay, I'm just not going to go there. But that is my big thing, and I'm really also just starting to work on. I want to eliminate more plastic. We are not plastic free in our house, but I really do want to just completely eliminate plastic. Yes, Mary.
I actually have two comments to share and then a question. The comments are quick. I also have a cat. And I got tired of even the plastic, because I'm buying less and less of those bags.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't do
yeah,
chips
what do you put it in then?
So I was actually coming into that problem, and I decided to go to R&D Cross, any southern states or supply store, maybe even Ace would have. It's a stainless steel 1 gallon or so bucket with no lid. And I put that in a 5-gallon plastic container, those paint 5-gallon paint
like
things.
or like our compost buckets.
Right,
yeah.
right, to hide it from my cat, because if there's litter anywhere, she doesn't like the smell of used litter. And the stainless, yes, imagine that.
Very finicky.
Imagine that. And I put that inside the bucket, and then I just dump as I'm cleaning the litter boxes, I just put the used litter in there, and then every few days I take that to my
great idea, Mary.
Trash bag. And it doesn't smell, it doesn't stain, and then I just rinse it out if it has a smell.
Okay, I'm going to start doing that.
And the other thing is I'm diehard vegan, although I eat insects now, and but I don't do beeswax, and I use those silicone covers instead.
Yeah,
they're great even for an avocado or whatever. And then my question is, what's the next challenge for you?
What do you mean? Like, what am I going to try and eliminate, or I really want to be zero waste.
Step.
I really want to be zero waste, but I also feel like to maintain sanity in my household, I can't force. I can't force things on my stepsons. Maybe it's funny. I asked Bea Johnson this. Because I said, it's kind of tough for me, and she's like, hey, I have not raised them since since birth, so I don't want to, they're good about composting and they're good about recycling and all of that, but I have to be careful, and I don't want to push any wrong buttons, and so I just try to be sensitive to that. So I don't try and force anything on anybody, or just say, hey, this is what we're doing, and they usually go along with it. But I really want to be zero waste, absolutely. Yes, Brooke.
Thank you so much. I feel re-inspired and reinvigorated. So after I got into this a couple years ago and also became a diehard vegan because of all the consequences there, but then I got overwhelmed at some point, and maybe because I have a 3- and 5-year-old, so they were younger.
That might have something to do with it there, Brooke.
Yeah, so I'm feeling much better now, taking care of myself, doing fun things, but so now I want to get back into this, but I guess sometimes I'm like feeling in myself is like I have this like give upness where I think it's too hard. Like I go to Mark's Kitchen. No, I don't need the plastic water cups for the kids. Just give them glass. They're not gonna like throw it. Yeah. So how do you deal with like this overwhelm when you realize like most people are not living this way and it's everywhere? And how do you not just go, I give up? Yeah. I know that sounds crazy, but that is what happened to me. I just thought I can't make my own coconut milk anymore, and it's not like that hard. But I think it was a mental thing, right? I was like, what's the point? And, okay. Yeah. Wow, that was positive. No.
No. I hear you, and it does get frustrating sometimes. But you know what? There's always somebody else out there that cares and they want to do something. And there are so many cool people out there now that are doing so many great things. And I'm just inspired every day, truly. And people are constantly sharing things with me on Facebook. Lori Hill, look at this, and it's great. And so I don't get inspired because there's always somebody else who's still fighting the battle. So when I'm low, someone else is high, and then they get me high. But I don't mean it that way. Okay. So anyway. Okay. Yeah. You have a question?
I have a comment.
Okay.
We have chickens.
Oh, great. Okay.
We give them the compost.
What about the compost? Okay, you have chickens?
We give them the compost. We give the chickens the compost.
Can you give the chickens compost to eat, or you give them your own compost? Oh, I think that's great. Yes. Yes, I remember when I was in 5th grade, we had pigs that we raised, and so all the leftover food off our trays would go to the pigs. So that's great that you give that to the chickens. I bet they love it. What's their favorite food?
I don't.
No, you don't know.
Maybe like bread.
Okay. Okay, that's wonderful that you do that. Great, thank you for sharing that. Any other questions? Going once? Okay. My neighbor Liz here.
Yes, hi. This is a question about the newspaper plastic bags. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
I want to get the paper delivered, so I'm not going to
Yes.
read it online, and then I get the plastic bags, and then I use it to pick up the dog poop.
Yeah.
Am I being virtuous or fooling myself?
Someone was going to ask me this question.
Yeah. Oh, is it hard? I'm sorry.
Well, no, I know. And you can recycle the newspaper bags. So this is, and here's the thing. My mother-in-law, our mother-in-law, actually it's John's late wife's mom, who's a big part of our lives. And she is just one handy lady, and she was so proud of herself because she took all her Washington Post newspaper bags and took about like 20 or 25 of them, put them on a carabiner, like poked a hole through them, put them on a carabiner. She's like, look, Lori, you can just take this off. Every time you go to walk the dog, you've got a dog poop bag. And I was just like, oh, because I just use the the biodegradable bags that I buy at Big Bad Wolf, and what I would prefer to do is just have those plastic bags go to recycling, to get recycled and to get reused, because I know when they go to landfill, they're just not going to break down. But then I don't know. I've been reading stuff on the biodegradable poop bags, and are they really biodegrading? So I am really kind of struggling with that right now. And I'm still doing that. I'm still using my biodegradable poop bags, but I may change. Yeah, it's a struggle.
Hi, Lori. Thank you. So,
hello, Green Elf.
Mark, yeah, picking up trash and recycling for years, so I finally put a name
Kindred
to it.
spirits.
Okay, fine. So what I want to ask you about is you have a willing dry cleaner. I don't dry clean a lot, but when I do want to put it in. I tried to get them. I said, here's the bag.
Yeah.
Use this bag, and it still came back in that darn plastic.
Oh, my gosh.
So I want to know who your dry cleaner is, who is very willingly going along with this. That
I
was
just
one
use
of my
Carriage House
questions.
Cleaners. That's on
Carriage
Carroll
Hill.
Avenue, right by Takoma.
Across from the
by
food co-op?
Yeah.
Okay.
Number one cleaners near the on Dale and near the old Blair.
Oh yeah, Erder's Market is on the corner there. Oh, okay, that's good to know. So they're willing to do that. Okay, that's
And sometimes
great.
it's just being patient. Because when I've shown people the 6 tips to avoid plastic bags, they're like, yeah, I tried to do that, and and it's not working so well. I think it's just educating people, and because sometimes I've been places and they look at me like I have 3 heads, and it's just being patient. They're just not. They haven't been exposed to it, and yes, you're going to get a little frustrated, but just be patient and explain to them. Maybe even write a letter. I mean, think about how far we've come with straws. And, if not, like, take a cute little kid and with you, maybe, and that might help, because they'll be like, for my future.
I love that gimmick.
Yeah.
It was just like on the Southwest Air the other day. They pick your favorite kid to save. And,
No, but I'm serious though. Like, that's how Spring Mill, like a kid on our straw committee, a kid said, please stop serving plastic straws, and they took him seriously, and now they have switched to papers. So the kids are good. So are you ready with our...
Yeah, and I also have a comment.
Oh, you have a comment. Okay.
Yeah, just whatever companies or brands you've mentioned are not necessarily an endorsement.
Oh, absolutely.
Because this is a public government thing.
Yeah, no,
So
absolutely. Yeah, no, and they don't. I don't get any money from them. I just love them. So I think if we don't have any more questions, John, are you ready to keep track of this stuff?
Yeah, we've got 27 people who registered.
Okay, great. So if you didn't register, check in with John. Too late now. But okay, so Rick, please pick. We're gonna have you pick numbers between 1 and 27. Should we do these one at a time, or are you gonna like highlight one at a time? Okay, so your first number between 1 and 27.
9.
9. Okay, who is number 9?
Jan Harrelson and Deb Wire.
All right. Okay. Shannon, Deb, I've got bees wrap for you. Come on down. Bunch of bees wrap.
Thank you so much.
There you go. Okay. Who's the next?
17. Heidi Ashton Yoon.
Oh, she just left.
Does anybody know her?
I do.
You do? Okay.
And I'm happy to give it to her. I won't keep it.
Okay. Is she a tea drinker, do you know?
Yes, and it'll
She,
be a good excuse
oh,
to see her 'cause we
okay,
work with
good.
each other.
So she gets one of those bulk tea strainer things? Okay, great. Good, okay. Okay.
Another number?
25.
Mario Ben Arias?
Yay! Okay. So I'm going to give you the bees wrap as well. Okay, there you go. Okay. Take that. Your family will appreciate that. Okay. And you can keep snacks in there too. Yes. Next number?
Number 4.
Number 4 is Orly Kiner. Orly Kiner?
Gone? Gone? No, and no one knows that person? Okay, go ahead.
26.
Abrash Teklamana? Yes. Did I get that close? Okay.
So this is, you can wrap gifts in this. It's fabric that you can put gifts in, okay, instead of using, instead of using wrapping paper. Go ahead.
11.
11. Sarah Moncal?
Get a green garmento, okay? And if you don't do dry cleaning, give that to someone who does do dry cleaning. But it's great. And you can just use it as a garment bag, too. Okay. Yeah? No. Sorry?
How many more do you have?
3 more. 3 more, 3 more.
Number 1.
Ooh, number 1. Who was the first one to sign it? Jacob Cram.
All right. Okay. So you actually get you get the tea thing, and then you get a bag there to put gifts in. So, okay. So we've got, okay, 2 more.
20.
Liz Marshall.
All right, Liz. Okay, green garmento for Liz. Okay. Okay, take that to Carrot House. Okay, and then we've got the Giganto. Who gets the Giganto? This is from the Green Garmento people. This is a big, huge bag that you can put lots of things in. Take that grocery shopping.
16. Sharon McNair.
Yay! Okay. Okay. Yeah, I know. Color coordinated. That's perfect. Yay! Okay. Okay, so there you go. So again, so look out for my email later today with links to things and and videos and all types of resources. And again, if you have any questions, I can answer some now, or feel free to email me. My business card is out front. And I also have 6 tips to avoid plastic bags. I've got a little handout on that too if you're interested in that. But thanks everybody for coming. Really appreciate it. You're not supposed to have beverages in here.